I was heading into the grocery store today and I was just like stressing over the fact that I was gonna have to spend like $80 on groceries, right? Because that's a lot of money to spend for one person for 1 week of food. You know, theoretically, it really shouldn't cost more than $50 for one person for a week, but it's just impossible. And I was stressing because I really didn't want to spend $80 on groceries for 1 week. And so I was just like irritated about that. And I was trying to give myself a pep talk, like, it'll be okay, it'll be fine. Like, it's not gonna be a big deal. And I'm so relieved to announce that after, you know, grocery shopping exclusively store brand stuff and only buying 2 bags worth of groceries, I spent $116 for the week for one person.
So today I want to make a video which isn't the normal kind of video that we make on our channels. I want to talk to you about the debt issue here in the UK. Over the past month, we've been helping 1,956 people with a debt issue per day. So that ends up being like 4 people per minute. I feel like it's really hard to like understand and think about the gravity of that statistic and how many people that really is. So I want to take you through my day and we can kind of think about it together. It's now 10:34 in the morning and our phone lines normally open at like 9 a.m. By this point in the day, we would have already helped 376 people with a debt issue. And it's worth noting that this isn't the total amount of people contacting us with a debt issue. This is just the amount that have been able to get through. It's 1:18, and by this point in the day, we would have normally helped about 1,032 people with a debt issue, many of which are going to be families, and half of which are in a negative budget, which means that regardless of anything else, at the end of the month, their outgoings are more than their income. And by outgoings, I mean essential outgoings, like food and bills. It's now 4 p.m. and the number of people we would have helped just today alone would be now 1,680 people. A lot of these people won't have enough money to get the bus, to have a phone, to get any internet. Yeah. It's now 5 p.m. and we've helped 1,956 people with a debt issue. And tomorrow we'll help another 1,956 more. And then the day after that and the day after that. If the government doesn't take immediate action, our figures are only going to get worse and worse.
So I've just been in Sainsbury's looking for a meal for work tonight. £9.50 for a macaroni cheese or a lasagna from Charlie Bingham's. Charlie Bingham's, I don't know who you are, and I don't know how you can justify £9.50. Like, I had to take a picture. Absolute crazy. Why are supermarkets even stocking this stuff? In the cost of living, maybe because it's Sainsbury's, I don't know, but it's an absolute joke. Like, who would pay £9.50 for one of these? Is there anyone here that would pay £9.50 for? I could be a billionaire. I'm not paying £9.50 for one of them ready meals. Absolute freaking joke.
I don't want to die, but I don't want to be homeless either. That's even worse.
If you haven't seen that video, I would strongly recommend going and taking a look. She's talking about a news segment that she saw where a man who's in chronic pain and is on ODSP cannot afford to find somewhere to live with the amount that he's getting. So instead, he has signed up for MAID, which is medically assisted death. It bothers me so much because as a realtor, I have seen people come with ODSP. I have seen single mothers come with Ontario Works and cannot afford to find something for them and their children to live in. I don't understand how we have money to fund wars and how we have money to fund Justin Trudeau's private jets, but we cannot afford to put our own citizens in affordable living. Nope, but we can for sure help them to die. What the hell is going on here?
My entire pension is my rent. I live off family tax benefit A and B.
Yeah, understood.
I am doing my best to get a job so that I can keep a house over my daughter's head. When I'm applying for the jobs, I'm faced with being told that more than 100 other candidates have applied for the same jobs. I want my government to have a strategy in place for that gap to be bridged. This is your policy. This is something that you can absolutely get through and have it pass legislation. It just needs to be thought all the way through.
There's one major sign that the cost of living crisis is making Aussies desperate. Research from Finder revealed 1 in 8 Australians have admitted to stealing in the past 12 months. The research found 5% of people admitted to stealing at the supermarket self-checkout, with 4% cheating the machines by scanning cheaper items and bagging expensive ones. Other shocking statistics in the research found that 4% of Aussies had driven away without paying for petrol, and 2% had left a restaurant without paying in the past year. Finder money expert Sarah Meganson said the research suggests households are at their breaking point and shows just how much people are struggling and turning to things that they probably never could have imagined in the past. What do you think?
In Canada, who have been suffering with mental health, they've gone to see their doctor and been told that a good option for them is assisted suicide, and the government will pay for it. Lots of patients have been coming out in the media. They've been given an option of assisted suicide. Truly disturbing. They've been told that the system is overwhelmed, and a new program has been created called Medical Assistance in Death, also known as MAID. This has been put in place to help people take their own life under medical supervision. MAID is also being offered to people who are struggling with the cost of living crisis, who have underlying conditions. They are also currently talking about this in Parliament, other countries in Europe and across the world.
So I'm at the grocery store doing my least favorite thing in the world, and this shit is just, it's outrageous at this point. Like, I already hated coming here, but like, this is ridiculous. 3 for $13 for a pack of Deer Park water. 3 for $13 for a pack of I'm not gonna drink Poland Spring, but I'm tired of this shit. Like, y'all not tired of this shit? Like, I'm not buying 3 cases of water for $13. We gotta stop doing this shit. Like, they hike up these prices because they can. Because they can. 3 for $13. They used to be 3 for $7 on sale. 3 for $9.99. Okay, cool. 3 for $13 for water, bottled water? I'm absolutely fucking over it. You can get 1 case of water. It's $4.99. $4.99. Like, are we done yet?
A lot of people have asked which Kohl's I was talking about in my video where I mentioned I felt like a thief at my local supermarket because only anti-shoplifting measures are put up at Kohl's with high loss rates. Well, I thought, I don't live in an awful suburb, so I probably don't have a really bad Kohl's, but I was on Reddit last night and found out that apparently my local Kohl's has one of the highest loss rates in the entire country, at least according to the Redditor. And so I guess it kind of makes sense that some of these security measures are being put up, but let's remember that loss for grocery stores is not just people shoplifting. It's also bad inventory. It's when stock goes off and they need to throw it out. All of that accounts for loss. And the total loss at the store, according to the poster, was around $1 million. So not a huge amount of money in the grand scheme of things, seeing as how Kohl's raked in about $2 billion last year. But I guess it goes to show that it doesn't matter what suburb you live in and who's around you, there are lots of people looking for a 5-finger discount.
What the American government is doing to us financially is violence. It's threatening our right to survival. They've created a system where we can't feed ourselves or clothe ourselves or house ourselves without money. And they've also created a system that is so plagued by greed that we're not being paid living wages. At this point, taxation without representation is a drastic understatement. Please, I beg of you, name one thing that our government is successfully doing for us right now, because they're not even keeping us safe. All beings have the right to defend themselves and their right to exist. Ironically, this is the entire conversation that we're having about Israel and Palestine. No one fucking owes it to anyone to sit there and take the abuse and to be marginalized and oppressed out of existence, period. And whatever they need to do to get out of that situation, frankly, it's better to die fighting than it is to just sit there and take it. And that's my opinion. Anyways, if anyone wants to reenact the plot of Fight Club, just hit me up.
This was $25.
So just don't buy it. Like, come on, seriously. Are we doing this? we're not really doing this, right? Like, trust, I know that we're being price gouged at the moment in Australia. I'm not stupid. I'm not dumb, yeah? The butter that I like is $8 now. So you know what? I just don't buy that butter. I buy a different butter. It's like $5.50 for my butter now because I just didn't buy the butter that's expensive. Like, unless a person came up to you and held a gun to your head and said, unless you buy these grapes, your whole family is going to die, then why did you buy them? To come on TikTok? To complain about the price of something that you had complete control over purchasing? Come on. No way. No, we're not doing this. Is this real life? Why am I getting worked up about this? Ugh. Fuck. Also, grapes aren't in season. Like, that's why they're so expensive. Are you joking? Come on.